Hello, everybody. Today on the Gunslinger podcast, we have a special guest who we will be interviewing. His name, Pretty Boy Floyd, a gangster and pretty boy who made a name as a hired gun and bank robber in the American Great Plains. Hello, Mr. Floyd.
Hello there. Please don't call me Pretty Boy. I hate that name. What will we be talking about today?
Just some questions about your life, Mr. Pretty Boy. Let's start with your early life. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Betrell County, Georgia, but I didn't live there all my life. My family moved to Atkins County, Oklahoma when I was 7 in 1911. We lived there for the rest of my childhood.
Where and when did you officially start your life of crime?
My first robbery was when I was around 18 years old. I stole $3.50 from my local post office and was arrested for payroll robbery, where I was sentenced to 5 years in prison. I only served 3.5 years. I was granted parole. After that, I started a partnership with some Kansas City criminals. I began mainly as a hired gun for liquor runners.
What other crimes did you do with those criminals that you made a partnership with?
Just a bunch of bank robberies and stuff like that. One of the main things that I got experience from is shooting from rum runners. I actually got my nickname during that time.
Well, how did you get your nickname?
Some oil rig workers gave it to me while I worked there. They called me Pretty Boy because I was always wearing buttoned up shirts and slacks.
I'm guessing you didn't like that name?
No, I hated it. Many people who were close to me didn't call me Pretty Boy. They called me Chalk. I preferred that over Pretty Boy.
Were you ever arrested for something other than robbing banks or killing?
I once got arrested in Pueblo County for vacancy, but I got off with a $50 fine and 6 days in jail. Basically, I had to pay for being homeless. Even though I took a lot of money from banks, I wasn't good at keeping it.
Speaking of killing, how many people have you killed?
I think I killed around 10 people, but I lost the pocket watch with the notches for each person I killed.
All right, then. Now time for our podcast sponsor today, Tommy Dunn's Tommy Gun Superstore. Hi, my name is Tommy Dunn, owner and president of Tommy Dunn's Tommy Gun Superstore. Want a Tommy gun? Then come on down. Already have one? Then come on down. All your Tommy gun needs: ammo, magazines, barrels, extra parts, and you guessed it, more Tommy guns. Due to us being in trouble with the law, we sadly can't tell you our location in fear of the FBI raids to come. Come find us for everything you need for your Tommy guns. Just call 8675-309 for more information. See you there. All right, now back to the regular podcast. Now let's start with our next question, which is I heard you were really popular with the public. Why is that?
Well, even though I was a crook, I wasn't a mean guy. I was considered a real gentleman by many. When I robbed banks, I often tore up mortgage papers, making people debit free. I would also buy poor people groceries. That is where I got another one of my nicknames, Robin Hood of Cooks and Hills.
Being a criminal like you must have a lot of police after you.
I did. I was considered public enemy number 1 by the police, who put a $23,000 bounty on my head. The public did not hate or fear me, though, because what I did for them outweighed the crimes I committed in their eyes. Being known as Robin Hood was good enough for them.
Banks must have been extra secure when they heard you were around.
Yes, in fact, the insurance rates for banks actually doubled during my crime sprees in Oklahoma. They were losing a whole bunch of money from bank robbers like me. They also knew when I robbed them, I never wore a mask.
Have you ever been convicted of a murder or robbery and sent to prison?
Yes, but after they convicted me for the murder of a police officer, I jumped off the train transporting me to prison.
All right. Did you have any other nicknames besides the one we talked about?
I had a fake identity, which I used in Oklahoma, Frank Mitchell. I got arrested under that name because I escaped from the train that transported me.
All right, that was an interview from Mr. Charles Pretty Boy Floyd, answering some questions for us. Thank you, Mr. Floyd.
You're welcome.
Sadly, Charles Pretty Boy Floyd died on October 22nd, 1934. He was shot by FBI agents while trying to flee in a cornfield. After his death, about 40,000 people attended his funeral, and he was buried where he grew up in Atkins County, Oklahoma. He had one child, Jack Dempsey Floyd, who died in 2001. Thanks for listening to the Gunslinger Podcast. See you later.